my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. Today, as promised, is my first video in a series of videos about crystals. Today we're just going to keep it simple. I'm going to talk about 3 of perhaps the most common and easy to come across crystals. I'm going to talk about cleansing and cleaning and caring for your crystals. I'm going to talk about selecting crystals, and first and foremost, I'm going to tell you about what got me interested in crystals. So let's just get right into it, and we'll start with that. I first formed an interest in crystals in 2006. Now, I'd always loved them. I thought they were beautiful to look at. I used to love going into stores that sold them and just looking at them, but I didn't really start learning about them at all until 2006. At that time, my family was going through a very stressful period. There was a lot going on, like with my extended family. There was a lot, just some really intense situations happening. And I think we all tried to find ways to deal with it. And one of the ways that I found was I started learning more about the metaphysical properties of crystals. I even went on to take some courses. I took like an introduction to crystals course, and then I took a more in-depth one that also certifies me to talk about them and teach people a little bit about them. So I have 2 certificates in that. So yeah, at that time, there was a calling in me to find something to help deal with the emotions that I was feeling, the stress that I was feeling. At that time, I started having panic attacks and a lot of anxiety, and I turned to crystals to try to help me deal with that. And it helped. And after a bit of time, the panic attacks stopped for me. Maybe that would have happened anyway once the situation sort of alleviated a bit. And maybe the crystals had a hand in helping. Who knows? All I know is that for me, I feel a strong connection to them, and it's something that makes me very happy. And even just looking at them and touching them, it makes me feel happy. So yeah, so that's where I started. Of course, you know, the things I'm going to tell you about the crystals, you can take with a grain of salt. You can do more research on your own. This is just things that I have found to be true. And, you know, the different crystals claim to help with different ailments, and I'll tell you a bit about that. But of course, this is in no way meant to substitute medical help or a doctor's advice. I'm sure you all know that, but I just want to say that just so that we're all clear. So yeah, that's where I got my start. So the 3 crystals that we are going to be talking about today are clear quartz, amethyst, and rose quartz. So the first one, so I'll show you some of my favorites of each of those as we go. The first one is clear quartz. It's perhaps the most common and abundant quartz in the world, and it looks like this. This is my favorite piece of clear quartz that I have. It's got the facets, like, it's just so beautiful, I find. And then the smooth sides, and then it's rounded at this end. They call clear quartz the master healer. I've also got this little one that I loved because it kind of looks like a heart. So that was so pretty. And then I have a ton of clear quartz, a ton. But these are my favorites. And then these ones here too. I've got a ton of little tiny clear quartzes. So yes, they call clear quartz the master healer. A lot of chakras, a lot of crystals have corresponding chakras so that you can know which part of the body it's best for as healing or just to help bring energy to. And the clear quartz works with your crown chakra. So if chakras are something you're not familiar with, I can also do a video on that at a later date. Maybe I'll do like a chakra and the crystals that correspond to it, and then we can get more into chakras as well if you're interested. So the clear quartz is really good for bringing your body into harmony, for cleansing negativity, and it's just all around a good healer. This piece I love because it fits so nicely in my hand. The main way that I use crystals is during meditation. So just sitting and breathing and relaxing and meditating, and then I'll hold whatever crystal seems to correspond with whatever thoughts or feelings I'm having, and I'll just hold it in my hand while I'm meditating. It's as simple as that. There's no complicated things that you need to do with them. You can just hold them. And worst case scenario, they look beautiful. I love having them around my home. They're very appealing to me to look at, like visually appealing, and they just feel good. It feels good to have them around. Next up, in terms of common crystals, is the amethyst. This is my favorite piece here. So beautiful. I've had this one for many, many years. I love the smooth. There's a smooth point up here. When I hold that in my hand, I like to rub my thumb on that smooth part. I've also got a bunch of little tiny pieces. I find them so beautiful. And for amethyst, amethyst corresponds to your third eye chakra. It's really good for alleviating stress and anger and grief. Any of those negative emotions, it's good for. So again, I like to hold it in my hand. If I'm feeling an abundance of those, just, you know, those toxic negative emotions, sadness, fear, anything like that. When I was having the bad anxiety attacks back in 2006, I would put this one. This one's the one that's been with me the longest, has been through the most with me. I would put it in my pillowcase underneath the pillow, and I would sleep with it like that. So again, amethyst is good for negative emotions, anxiety, stress, grief, and it's good at taking those feelings and turning them into something else. So yes, and finally, rose quartz. So pretty. Looks almost white in some lights, and I'm thinking it's looking white in this light on camera, but it's got a soft pink color to it. Rose quartz corresponds to your heart chakra. It's really good for helping building and maintaining positive, loving relationships, whether that's a romantic relationship or friendship. And not just relationships with other people. It's also really good for your relationship with yourself, for self-forgiveness, self-worth, self-love, things like that. And again, just hold it while you're meditating. Put it around your home for something beautiful to look at. And yeah, so those are what I consider to be the three most sort of common, easy to find crystals, and a brief blurb about what they do. So as the series goes on, we'll get into these three in more in depth as well, but that's just a little intro for you. A little bit of info on selecting crystals. Crystals make a great gift. I've been gifted so many. Even just a few days ago, my mom gave me a little packet of crystals from her trip out in British Columbia this summer, which I love. And so it's a great gift to give. Anyone who loves crystals would be more than happy to receive it, I'm sure. But if you're picking one out for yourself, there are so many stores and things online where you can order crystals, and if you don't have any other option, that's a great way to get some. And right now where I'm living, it's sometimes the only way because I'm in a very small town. But back when I lived in a bigger city in Ontario, I would go to, they had tons of crystal shops and things like that. And that's really the best way to get it, because you can pick it up and hold it in your hand and see how it feels to you, because they all sort of give off different vibes, you know, or it just feels different. You want to find the one that feels the best in your hand. And yeah, I love doing that. But if you can't, ordering online is fine. But I will say, like, sometimes I would go into a shop with a specific crystal in mind, and actually end up leaving with a different one because that felt better to me. So yeah, and then as for cleansing and caring for your crystals, there are tons of different ways to cleanse them. Water being the best way. I'm going to insert a little clip right now about cleansing them. Okay, hey guys, for cleansing the crystals, I like to get a bowl of fresh water and then some sea salt. I put the sea salt in with the water, then I take all the crystals and put them into the bowl. So once you've cleansed them and they've soaked in the salt water overnight or for a few hours, you can just lay them out on a towel to dry. I don't like rub them dry or anything. I just let them sort of air dry on their own. You can also, a great way to dry them too and to sort of infuse them with extra energy is to lay them out on a windowsill at night, at a window where sort of moonlight comes in, and just have the moonlight soak into them. Just such a nice way to sort of activate and cleanse them. So there you go. That was this sort of beginning introduction to crystals. I hope you liked it. If you did, please let me know. I can't wait to do more videos about this. It's something that I'm really passionate about. To me, it's such a simple way to feel good and feel like you're having a part in I don't know, it's hard to explain. To me, it's just a simple way to feel like you're sort of actively doing something to help bring yourself peace and harmony and infusing your life and your home and your body with positive energy. So again, you know, if this isn't something that is in line with your beliefs, that's totally okay. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I just want to share my knowledge with you, and maybe you would find something new that you love that you never even knew about. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.